Okay, so you was on Mr. Beast, and I just got my tattoo done for leaving the club. So I was talking to Tina, and she was like, I love Mr. Beast. I couldn't believe it. I was watching it. And then here's Ian. I actually tattooed him. So she really liked it. She was really impressed with that.
I love Tina.
No, Tina's the best.
I want to get a tattoo. I want her to do the Mr. Beast logo on me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she could do the Mr. Beast logo, and she can help finish my sleeve.
Yeah, definitely. I'm saying we can talk to her. She can do anything for you. So I'm going for the rest, so starting the rest of the work that I'm doing.
She's doing it all?
She's doing it all. Yeah, of course, because she's really the only one.
Is that her husband she's been posting?
Nope.
Boyfriend?
Maybe it's her boyfriend. Yeah, not her husband. Unfortunately, Ian, she has.
I have a girlfriend now, Johnny. You're going to meet her tonight.
Does that ever matter?
It does matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter to you?
This is the girl I'm going to marry.
Oh, okay.
If you were asking Matty Ice, it would be different, but.
Now, you're going to marry her?
Yeah, 100%. You're going to meet her tonight.
I'm going to meet. I'm looking forward to it.
Mrs. Bick. She's going to be Instagram.
Listen, I just want you to know nobody is safe around me.
What do you mean nobody's safe around?
Nobody's girlfriend is safe around me.
She's 24.
24? My girlfriend in Colombia is 20.
That doesn't count. That's a fraud girlfriend. That's a fraud girlfriend.
That's a fugazi?
You guys got to check paperwork out there. Check IDs and shit.
That's a fugazi?
Yeah, ever since you fucking linked with Bean, you guys are these Colombian hogs now.
No,
I will say the only thing I'm disappointed about, I was looking forward to a Colombia trip, but now I can't do it.
No, you can never do it now. Because, listen, I think even like kids, for Mike, it's hard. But I'm saying, you got a girlfriend, forget it. It's over.
No, but I like being loyal to one person, and you just don't have to worry about
I think that's a phenomenal concept.
Yeah, I met her she's the manager of the restaurant. And
really?
Yeah, and we met, we hung out officially in July, and we've been inseparable ever since. We're going to Vegas together for her birthday. She came to Florida with us a few weeks ago.
Good for you.
She's really cool, hardworking.
Good.
Her and Matt designed the whole event tonight. So
really?
they won't let me get there till 9 o'clock.
Oh, really? So
they're doing everything.
Oh, okay, okay. So this is almost a surprise for you.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice and special. She's going all out and stuff for it.
That's
she
great.
Basically lives with me now, though, too. We spend.
I thought you live with Matt.
I do, but she stays with me, in my room. But it's a big apartment. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. Yeah. Matty Ice had it all by himself for those months.
Matty Ice, kid.
Yeah,
now
that's what I call
the
him.
Expenses.
Yeah, I got him something really dope for his birthday. I'm not going to tell you because he'll probably put this together. October 10th. Okay. And hers is October 8th.
Mine's September 29th. What you get me?
Johnny, maybe
a hotel room.
Take you to a dinner, I'll take you to a dinner, Johnny, come out.
I'm taking you to a dinner. You got to come down.
A lot of empty promises.
You were asking about the Louboutins, kid. Yeah. This is Nicky Verano. Gift from Nicky at Miami.
You guys have been talking about this Nicky Verano since I met you.
You got to come down.
I haven't met the guy.
He's the GOAT, brother. Yeah. It's my man. It's my brother. We always got to
stay loyal to our guy at Revere.
Volari, he understands.
I love Volari.
Yeah, Volari. Chris is a good guy.
Never seen anyone change the menu just for one specific person. My man goes and picks up those steaks when you're in town.
Yeah, the fillets,
that
right?
was a
Chris
good
is
meal.
Great. We love Chris.
That was still a fun day. We did that episode a year ago, or September, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's almost a year since we met.
That brings us to the next question, Ian, because I'm going to turn the tables on you. I'm going to be the interviewer today. So what I wanted to ask you first, of course, I got, the questions I got to have about Pee Wee and about Shawn Hicks, right? That's his last name. Was it Wick?
Shawn
Hicks?
Wick.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't even know who this guy is. Every time somebody posts, I'm like, never heard of him. He says that I called him, Mike called him. But anyway, what I want to ask you a few things because obviously you've turned into a very successful guy in the content creating world, right? Definitely, 100%. It's undeniable. So since leaving prison, how long ago did you leave prison?
I left in 2019. A lot of people think I'm more fresh out because I started the podcast and stuff, but I worked at Whole Foods for almost 4 years.
Right. Yeah, and I saw that. Listen, you're a hustler. It's a great thing. So now I want to ask you, what was the best thing that you did when you left prison?
Quit my job to start this.
Okay.
That was the best. I mean, at the time, if you asked me back then, 4 years ago, I would have said it was working at Whole Foods because it was a great job. I was going to make $100K. Little over that with overtime that last year I was there. I literally worked my way up from a chef, like a bitch boy on the hot bar, busting my butt, part-time. This is back when retail, full-time retail, this was before COVID, so retail wasn't really where it was hard to get promoted to full-time. There was an abundance of employees. Right. So I had to fight my way to get full-time, you know, because they dangle that like a carrot in front of you for benefits and stuff. It's so much different now. So I had to work like a dog there, work 2 jobs. I worked at a pizzeria. I would go from 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. to 2:30 at Whole Foods and go down the road to a pizzeria and close that till 11 p.m. Still get the gym in, everything like that. And I like doing that too because I was on the ankle monitor for that first year of supervised release. So it got me out of the house the whole day.
Right.
So I did that, grinded, worked my way up, became a supervisor, and then timing was everything because COVID happened. So I was able to get promoted very fast. Lived in Long Island for a little bit, helped them open up a store.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I was living in a Airbnb in a room for $1,400 a month, working at that store, and then crazy, bro, because I was waiting to look for an apartment.
Expensive
for a room this size, a room in a shared bathroom, $1,400 a month plus the Airbnb fees. But it was right next door to the place, and then on my off days, I would drive back to Connecticut. But I only did that for 6 months because then the position opened up in Danbury and I moved back home and stuff. But I've just been through so much. Like, and then when I quit the job and started driving Uber and DoorDash, I had an OnlyFans for a little bit. I did all these things to hustle because I didn't make money. Like, I quit in August, lived off my credit cards till like April, racked up a crap load of credit card debt, had no income coming in. I worked at a frozen yogurt shop, did some work for my dad, and then did like Uber and DoorDash and stuff and OnlyFans and whatnot. And I didn't get my first check until like June. So that's 9 months, 10 months. And then I was splitting my revenue with these guys. I gave up 50% of my business at the time, partnered up with these guys. Right. So I could never get ahead, you know? Right. I made so many like bad business decisions starting out, and so many people took advantage of me and latched on. Because you got to realize this is my first really successful business ever. Like in high school, I was successful with the teen parties, but that was just a few of them, you know, it wasn't a real business. Then every business I started after that was a massive failure, you know, it was
epic failure,
you know, and those were the losses I need. But I never had an successful business to learn about the aspects of running a successful business.
How to be successful, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
And what it's like to when you actually become successful and that people will latch on. I always had people avoiding me because I was so much of a failure, you know, and strapped for cash. And then when you have an income of influx of cash, people latch on. I got into some shitty deals that I'm now like finally, you know, out of after all these things. But I lost a lot of money. I made a lot of money the last couple of years, but I could have been, if I didn't get into those deals, I could have had the restitution paid off. I could have done so much stuff, you know, but it's been a learning lesson for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's great. And you know what? With Whole Foods, so I'm a recovery coach, right? And I coach people that are, you know, battling addiction, that are just getting clean, that have been clean, you know, off drugs and alcohol. And they always say like, I'm having a hard time finding a job. I'm like, when I first got out of prison, I used to see these things in Stop and Shop where you can work your way up to manager. Why not go there?
Because people don't want to do it.
Right.
Lazy.
So that's the whole thing, the growing pains of it. But if that's if that was my last resort, I was like, I always got a place here. I see the hiring signs, help wanted all the time. If I ever have a problem anywhere, that's where I'm going because I know I could do well there.
That's how if I lost everything tomorrow with content and stuff, that's what I would do. I would go to a retail, Walmart, all these places. You can, the store managers, you're making 6 figures, stable job. If I lost everything, I would go into retail
and benefits
and work my way up because the bar is set so low because no one cares and they don't see that vision.
Right.
I literally started at that $15 an hour and worked my way up to $33 an hour and then the overtime. But if I lost everything tomorrow, I would be right at Whole Foods front steps, get a job, start me out in the dish room. Right. I will work my way up in 6 months and grind all the way through. You just have to go the extra mile. I tell people that come here and they're like, I want to start a podcast. I want to get into content.
Everybody thinks it's so simple.
It's not. Yeah.
It's difficult. We just talked about, you know, what Shawn O'Brien with Better Bad Ideas. He's got a great podcast. But he's struggling with views, right? I'm saying because you can't make everybody watch it. It just don't turn into gold overnight. Just because you have a podcast and 2 mics doesn't mean you're going to make $1 million. Like
my thing took 3 years to get to where I'm at.
100%.
3 years just to get to a point where now all I have to do is, and it's not all you have to do because it's a lot in a sense, but like in the sense of when I first met you, you saw me. I came to your house.
Came to my house
with the gear by myself.
Everything by yourself.
Set it all up while I'm posting clips, doing the interview. Yep. I edit it, get it all together, get it up. Now at least I have like an assistant and stuff like that, and where I just need to, I'm sticking to the list. So like I do the interview, I edit it, I make the clips, and Matt runs my socials and stuff.
Right.
But you got to realize for 2.5 years, It was all me. I did everything from guest bookings to everything.
With nothing, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
with nothing.
And you weren't, it wasn't like, okay, I'm doing all this work and getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm doing all this work because I think I might have something in the end of all this.
And I had partners that were eating up my percentages,
Right.
you know, but I was doing all the work.
Sure
So
you were.
just, you know, things of that nature, you know, is what it takes to get to, you know, where you're at now.
I would chase $100 bill to the ends of the earth. I tell everybody that. Like, you know, I was out meeting my friend. I don't know if you see my story today, my favorite millionaire.
Yeah,
my
I saw
friend,
that, yeah.
My friend Anthony Rossi. He's a great dude. He always helps me out. You know, he buys shirts from me. Like, I'll give him an invoice for $700. He'll throw $500 on top. Like, you know what I'm saying? But he's in Gloucester. I gotta drive for an hour. Like I say, I'll go to the ends of the earth, and he don't have to do that. If he threw $100 bill on top, that would be fine. That would be a good commission for it. You know what I'm saying? But he always goes the extra mile. He's such a great guy. You know, all my friends, I'm so blessed. You know, like when you said you had to work at Whole Foods, I didn't. People gave me money when I got out of prison. You know that. You know what I mean? And I'm saying, you know, numerous people, multiple people. And I just feel so completely blessed. And that brings me to the next question I have for you. You know, I was just driving up here and I was just, you know, I was listening to songs because half my life was in prison, and I was just feeling these songs, right? And I was just like, yo, I can't believe I'm not in handcuffs. I'm in a Mercedes Benz. Not that it matters, right? But I'm like, you know, just it's like such and just feeling just tremendously blessed. And that's my next question to you. How do you feel? You know, because we went through it. We went through it, not as long as me, but everybody's sentence, they have to wrap their head around it, right? You don't have to wrap your head around a lot, but you had to wrap your head around yours saying, I don't know if I could do this, man. How do you feel day to day when you look back and you know where you were and where you have come from? And just, are you always so consumed, or do you ever take time to just say, man, I can't believe this?
I mean, you know, this year I got to take 100 days, you know, to really reflect. That was like my reflection period on everything that's happened.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, doing Mr. Beast, reflecting back on the last few years of everything from getting out of prison. Because when I was in prison, I reflected on all the moments that led up to prison. You know, you think about it in depth,
sure,
especially when you're in solitary. Then when I'm in Mr. Beast, I thought about all the time I spent after. And now, ever since getting back from Beast, I definitely spend more time prioritizing like my family, having more free time doing things I want to do, because life's too short. You know, you see about all these things. So I'm not killing myself I'm just focusing on what I'm good at, because every time I've gone outside of what I'm good at, it's always failed, you know, focusing on what I'm good at. And I think if you put good energy out, good energy will come back to you. And I 100%. Met this girl at the right time. That's what I wanted. I wanted like a partner, you know,
good for you.
So I spend my free time with her, and I live a very laxed life, you know, and it's just good. It's just, I'm very grateful for everything I have. And, you know, tomorrow's not promised. So I'm just enjoying it. Now I look at like, do I really want to like go to do this event or do something? It's like, full send it. You know, life's too short. Take the trip, do this. What are you going to do? Because before, when I was at Whole Foods, grind, because that's how my thought process is. Like, you have to grind 24/7 hours a day. You got to save, you got to do this. All right, great. So I do all that. I'm 60 years old. I'll have a bunch of money in the bank, but I didn't get to live.
Right.
There's so many people that never get the chance to live.
Yes.
So I'm glad I'm using these experiences. And I think, you know, you hear a lot of these millionaires and stuff, they say all the time, like, once you make that first 10, 15, 20,000 or whatever, and you're one of those people that go out there and go and make money, money will just come to you, you know, like once you make that. Like, I look at it now and say like I make 10 grand in a month, right? When you put that into perspective, I remember when I was struggling over like a $2,000 paycheck. Like, the more money you make, the more bills there's going to be, and it's in perspective now. Like, so like 10 grand a month to me now is like when I was making 2 grand a month, because there's overhead, there's this and that. So it changes over time. But when you look at it, my point is, it's possible to get to that. And you got to realize, in the creator world, I'm at a very small level. Like, if I'm making even 40 grand a month, say, that I'm still at probably a C or a D list tier on a revenue basis.
Absolutely.
There's podcasts making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Sure. You know, I listen to some of these influencers talk about the brand deals, talk about all these things, you know? So I'm very low on the totem pole. I'm successful, but I'm very, very low on the totem pole, which keeps you motivated to keep putting out more, because there's so much growth. If my YouTube brings in, say, 15 grand a month, you know how many creators are bringing $100,000 a month, $200,000 a month? There's just so much more to do.
Right. And I mean, listen, so you're busy, and I really appreciate you taking this time, right? To just hang out with me and, make a space for me down here. We're here for your event tonight.
Well, I got kicked out of my event, so I can't go
well,
until
you can't
later,
go over
so I
there
got
for a
nothing to
certain
do
time because
right
you have
now.
your girlfriend and Maddie over there hooking it up. They're going to surprise you. It's going to be a surprise party that you know about, but they're going to surprise you when you get over there.
Yeah.
So 2 questions before you go, okay? And you already know what they are. The first one is, do you regret having Shawn Wick on your show?
Good old Shawn Wick. I'll never leave the day. Now
mind.
Everyone tags me on all his clips. Like, I'm not going to badmouth the guy, but knowing what I know now about him, I wouldn't have him on the show. When I booked him on the show, one, it was through an agent, like an actual publicist. His book just came out, and the package was presented well. He had just done that other dude, James English, which is a big podcast. He presented himself well. I will say, like, one red flag is, like, when you're on the phone with someone and all they do is hype up about all the projects they're doing and all the money they make and everything they got going on, they're normally not doing that, But it was through an agency. It was all done legitimately. And when you look at the package, like I saw like I didn't know that the lawsuit had to do with like Bean's friends or anything. That I just knew that the agent had said, yeah, they were sued, and he explained the whole story for me. And a good friend of mine who is a documentary producer, who will be there tonight. He does stuff with Netflix and HBO and is working on my stuff.
Cool.
He's the one that was on his radar because he got connected to him through some project, or his agent. They shared an agent or something, and he referred me to him to do the interview. So it was presented good. And then I did see the hate, and I'm like, okay, this is just a guy people are jealous about or they're hating about. You see it all the time with content. It doesn't mean the story's false. And I was like, okay, he's using it to fuel his views and momentum and stuff. And he had the look, he had all the components. You do the interview and stuff, and I told you guys about it, and I think if I wasn't that far into the process after I told you guys.
Now, that was a perplexing question, because was you into the process when Bean Shooter told you, or?
Yeah, I was already, he was booked like the whole, like 2 days later or 3 days. I was seeing him that Monday. I was with you guys on Thursday.
Okay.
And we were seeing him Monday. Now, if I had went and still booked him after, it would have been different. But I had been talking to Shawn before I ever even interviewed you. Right. It was like over a year to get that interview with him, because it was pitched to me as it was like, this is a mob guy for someone that was new in the podcasting world. That's a big fish for me. That's a big get.
It's a big
and
hit.
Also, I had never seen what's his name, our friend that was actually in the Irish mob.
Oh, Red Shea.
Yeah, I'd never seen it. I didn't see his content come up until after that interview came up. So I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, I mean, I never even heard about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't
until
see
Mike
nothing.
started saying about this guy's a fraud. I'm like, what guy? That's why, like, in the comments when people say, that I guess he equates me with Mike because I'm on the podcast with Mike. So he's like, I called Johnny Bart and he apologized and I accept his apology. All this stuff. Mike called him. Like, this like stuff is so grandiose. But all the time, I don't even know who the guy is. All the time, when anybody mentions him, I just say, never heard of him.
Yeah, and that Bean Shooter episode had came out like a couple weeks before his posted. So like I wasn't really following Bean's crowd. I had just known you. So all of these things keep in mind. But now the guy's just crashing out.
But you met Bean Shooter when he was throwing rocks at the air conditioner.
Yeah, but I'm saying like our followings, like I didn't see all of Bean's content about, like that's just the whole picture of it, But now the guy's really crashed out. You see these videos of him. He's clearly drunk and intoxicated.
Wow.
He's definitely gotten arrested. You see all these things like the domestics and then just the paperwork, like that aspect of it, and all these guys calling him out. It just doesn't make sense. He's probably I don't know his finances or all that, but just everything he said is not true. And I'm sure the publisher is probably kicking himself because he got a major publishing deal with a legitimate thing.
I know.
With a legitimate publisher, with a legitimate agent, everything. And now he's just crashed out. It's like the house of cards. Like you could just see it in him. He looks entirely different than he looked when I did that interview.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw the videos. He's pale. He's just beat up, He looks like a drug addict now. And I wish him the best. I hope he gets better. But to answer your question, I wouldn't have him on the show now, But it's also on him. If he represented himself in a wrong way, I didn't live his life. I wasn't there, It's on the guest. If they're going to come out and lie, you have to suffer with the ramifications. And he's getting beat up for it. I think, if anything, my interview really exposed him because he came out a second time. And people are really bashing the crap out of him on those comments, Yeah, they bashed me, but I think it hurts him more. I'm not going to be remembered as the guy that brought on Shawn Wick. I'm going to be remembered for different things other than that. So
Sure. No, and so two things to that. I mean, absolutely. I think, there's definitely, support for that point that you had that, hey, I further exposed this guy. But I mean, you have told me that, listen, I interview people. That's what I do. You know what I mean? So when people are reporters on TV and people meet them, you know what I mean? Oh, there's another actor in a movie that is cooperated against somebody, and nobody hates the other actor. I mean, but then there's the argument that, hey, we're from a different life, right? Because we were both in prison. So, and what Shawn Wick, right? I mean, he's not getting no play. I'm seeing like the thing's got 5 likes. 10 likes. I'm like,
he doesn't have a big social media, but he brands himself wrong. He doesn't brand himself
whatever
as
the
his
case may
name.
be, he's a weirdo.
No, the whole thing is he's just crashed out, losing the girlfriend, everything. But he puts on a great present. When I met him, he's got the big house, the construction. He's doing these businesses. He's got the perfect story. Down to the tattoos and just everything. And the way he's able to tell the story. Like when I met him at his house, he was completely sober. He's a good storyteller,
right.
So it's just, I don't know. Some people are just like that. But me, I'm just an interviewer, If he bamboozled a publisher, he could bamboozle me, It's not like this is a random guy I picked off the street that told a story. People aren't seeing it as he had a major publisher reach out to us, and they also did his book.
Right.
So he's got that stamp of approval from someone.
No, 100%. A huge publisher, which is, as we know, anybody can be on a podcast, but get your book published
with an advance. So if anything, shame on them.
Right. That's a whole nother animal.
They should have stopped that law, or the lawsuit should have been the first red flag. But the way that the news article pitched the lawsuit was that it was guys that didn't want their secrets exposed.
Okay.
It wasn't pitched as these guys are calling him a fraud.
Right.
When you look at the articles. Now when
saying
you search
anything's just shut them up.
Exactly. Now when you search the articles, it talks about, there was a big piece about saying the mobster that tricked everyone or whatever, that he's not really a mobster.
Wow, pretty good at least. Yeah. No, so that's at the end of the day, exposure. They exposed him.
Yeah.
So, and maybe you helped. Definitely Bean Shooter's the one that brought it to the fore, right? Our friend Mike
I know
Lee.
it's getting to him though. Like he left me, so I didn't even listen to it, but I know he left me some long voicemail, like a 3-minute rambling or whatever. But he's probably mad that I hang out with you guys. But listen, he asked me to come on the pod.
No, what he said was to me and Mike, I can't believe what you did to that kid Ian. He's a good kid. He was using you as the scapegoat and me and Mike for pressuring you we're friends. We hang out. And some people, don't like that fact. You know what I'm saying? There's other people that don't like that fact. Let's preface it this way. You're not an informant, right?
I'm wearing a wire.
You're not an informant. You're not a pedophile. You did your time well in prison. You know what I mean? And you come out and you interview people that have cooperated with the government.
Yeah, it happened. There's a lot of people that do, but at least
more than don't.
But also the thing is, like, I'm not getting people in trouble. Like, you look at Vlad. Vlad's really proby. Like, would you have gone on a Vlad?
No, because I don't know. Because there was somebody that asked me to go on their podcast, and I talked to 1090 Jake about it. And 1090 Jake said, he said some things, and I said, you know what? And I listened to 1090 Jake because I defer to the voice of reason all the time and the voice of experience. I don't have that type of experience, who this guy is, what he was. But Matty Ice actually hooked me up. Oh, this guy wants your information. I was like, cool, send it to him. And then when I reached out to 1090 Jake, and I don't know if it was Vlad or not. I don't know. No, it wasn't Vlad. It was somebody else.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, somebody else, right? So I didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but and I've had a lot of solid people on, and it's also like I'm not one of those I haven't had any of the Italian guys that have all ratted. I haven't had any of those. I've had all good Chicky. I had Chicky on, and that was it.
Yeah. So
I didn't have all those ones that are in that circle in Massachusetts or whatever that do the 9 million pods. The Sammy the Bull type people that go on every podcast. I haven't had any of those on.
Okay.
So that, at least I understand that code. Like I can understand one of the good ones not wanting to sit down with me because I had one of those guys on. I get that, but I haven't had those guys on.
So I got a question for you. Now, did the one interview I was upset about, because you're my friend, and before I had left the club, you know what I mean, was What's his name?
Oh, Pee Wee.
Okay, so Pee Wee. Now, did Pee Wee cooperate with the government?
He says no.
Does he have a 5K one? I'm not sure. I don't know.
No,
I'm just
he went down for a fight. He got 5 years, and he says he didn't rat.
Okay, yeah, I don't
know
know the
There's no
situation.
evidence saying otherwise.
Right.
I love Pee Wee. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He invited me to his home. We sat there for 3.5 hours in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Told stories, and he's got a good perspective.
Yeah.
You know, he feels like he was wronged in the end, and he just thinks the whole thing was silly. You know. And that's his perspective, and he gave a great interview. And I don't know. I don't know the details. Right. It's not for me to say this is what happened. It's not like
you can say the guy's got this paperwork on this guy. Yeah. We know he's no good.
But you got to give him credit because, like, he would sit down with anyone. He invites anyone to come down and have a conversation. Yeah. He's handling it very maturely. You know. So I don't know all the specifics.
You know what? My experience with Pee Wee was when I was in the club and he was in the club, or maybe I was in prison and he was in, we're both in the club at the same time, and hi and goodbye, or maybe like
he spoke highly of you.
Yeah.
He watched your interview with me. You know, he looks up to you or whatever. He likes you. So I don't know all the specifics. I don't get into that, but I will say I know like people that are active don't go on pods at all. So to me,
I was active,
but you handled it very differently. You know.
Well, I'm saying the thing is I listen, I don't talk about the club at all. The club is a bigger entity than me, whatever the case may be is. And the only thing I will ever say about the club is guys never said no to me when I needed money for school. And, so it's always going to be that. I love the guys in the club. It's just my heart's not in that no more. So, and that's enough that I will say about that. But I just wanted to ask you about them two people. So, and listen, I want to preface this, of course, because you're my friend, you know what I'm saying? And I hang out with you sometimes and we do content together and stuff. I know that, there's nothing wrong with you. We've already had a background check on Ian Bick, you know what I mean?
Who did the background check?
Yeah, well, I'm saying, of course, in prison, there's background checks done on people,
I went to trial.
Yeah. 100%. And you had a fucking crime that you shouldn't even have went to jail for.
Yeah, mine thing's very silly, but it was the best thing that could ever happen to me.
Right. So the blessing always comes initially disguised as a curse.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, me and my dad were talking about the other day. He's excited to see you. He wears your sweatshirt all the time.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But we're like, because he gets all upset about the whole situation, how everything went down. But I said, listen, if I got house arrest or probation, where would I be right now? Everything came from prison.
Ian, listen.
How could you not say that that's not the best thing?
We'll end this because me and you are both hungry and I know you're busy.
Need the Chipotle.
We're gonna end this like this. You asked me the same question in our interview, and you said, would you rather, not have gone through this? And I said to you, I always want to be Johnny Bott. I miss my mother, I miss my father, but I believe for me, just as you said, that's why I cut you off. But where would I be without going through this experience? I don't think I would be in the same spot. So I'm grateful that I'm here today, right? I'm grateful that I have great friends. I really am. And it's just, it sounds like cliche, all my reels on Instagram. I'm so grateful for that. It sounds so cliche, but it is. I live my life like that. I just, I'm just so grateful. And the journey I've been on is over. That's over. Mm-hmm. That's how fast it goes by. And the thing is I wouldn't be where I'm sitting today. And I wouldn't have the perspective. I wouldn't have the mindset. I wouldn't have had the opportunity. I wouldn't have had anything without the experience I went through. And the painful thing about it is the deaths of my people in my family. But I couldn't have got to point B without going through that journey. And like you said, where would you be?
Yeah. Got to go through it, Johnny.
Got to go through it. And we went through it.
And now everything's going well.
God, thank God. Listen, our health, bro. Our health. That's the main thing.
Are you still in that apartment?
I'm still in that place, yeah.
That's good.
Thank you, Tommy Rossi.
You got some more furniture?
I got some furniture. Yeah. I mean, that's another guy. Tommy hooked me up at that place.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Like I said, I always said, if it wasn't for my friends, I'd be sleeping in the Boston Common tonight. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be sleeping in a hotel tonight. But listen, I appreciate your time, Ian. You are the best, man. You're always really good with me. You always make everything accessible up here. I'm happy to be a part of this. It's a life-changing event for you. And, listen, I always say, and I'll end it with this, if I was doing the best out of all my friends, we'd be in a lot of fucking trouble. So I'm glad you're doing good.
Yeah, definitely.